Alright folks, a wonderful day everybody and welcome back here to part 2 of the current series where I want to showcase a very aggressive deck with mono white humans taxes that's already out there. Then I want to move to a more mid-rangey approach, although this is still very aggressive, but I think it does still count as a more of a mid-range approach, like focusing on a couple of creatures that you either protect to get through or a little bit of burn. And then in the next step, we're going to go and look at control. I think Zoo in general is currently a very interesting archetype. Of course, there's a lot of dress downs in the format and a lot of blood moons as well. Therefore, not every matchup is a good matchup. But we'll have a look at it and then we'll run through a league. One note here though, it's a retroactive introduction. So I accidentally joined a league with an unoptimized zoo list that we'll showcase in just a second. This is the zoo list that I would play or I would register if I had planned it beforehand, but the other league was a 5-0 and therefore I chose to still go with it. Whereas I actually wanted to join with a completely different deck, but I just misclicked. So what I did here in order to mitigate the effect that blood moons have on me as well as stress downs is that I went with a base of basically red-green, right? We're playing Tarmogoyfs, we're playing Ragavans, we're playing Hex Drinkers, we're playing Wildnacatls and Territory Kavus. And then in the next step, there is Seasoned Pyromancer. So Seasoned Pyromancer can mitigate a lot of the effects that Blood Moon has on you, and you can cycle the dead cards, etc. Territory Kavu under Blood Moon is a 1/1, Wildnacatl is a 1/1. So actually Wildnacatl is still a 2/2. But yeah, there's a lot of that stuff that you're running around with at that point. Tribal Flames, of course, also only deals 1 damage. But if you're looking at comparable lists, they're always running weird basic lands. They're running Stubborn Denial in the main, which you can do, of course, but not necessarily have to, because it's only good once you have like a Territory Kavu, a Tarmogoyf, and Scion of Draco out, and I found that to be actually not the case most of the time, at least not turn 3, that you have the mana out for that as well. You just want to be proactive as possible. And I added a couple of new cards as well. So I think that Hex Drinker is a very good addition to the deck, because on the one hand, it's a mana sink that you can utilize like the excess mana from Ragavan on, because most of your spells, like, yeah, you can cast a couple of spells with Ragavan's mana, but most of your spells are dependent on your land, basic land types, and therefore the mana from Ragavan is actually not as impactful as in other decks. But here with Hex Drinker, you actually generate a threat that your opponent has to deal with at any point in time, exactly the same as Ragavan, because otherwise you can just make it a 4/4 with protection, and then, you know, from there it just gets worse for your opponent. Also, I think that Tarmogoyf is just strictly better in the current meta than whatever everybody else is playing, like the X3 creature that just dies to bolt. I don't want to invest 2 mana in this deck if I know that my creatures are dying to bolt. So Territory Kavu and Tarmogoyf here, both pretty bolt resistant for the most part, especially because most decks are currently also running like Unholy Heat and all these types of effects that are reliant on the graveyard as well. Therefore, most of the time your Tarmogoyf is even bigger than like 4 or 5 power. Yeah, to round it out, also I chose to go with Tribal Flames plus Lightning Helix plus Lightning Bolt. Sometimes you don't see lists running Lightning Helix and, you know, they are running Leyline Binding, etc. instead. I think it's very important that you have a secondary burn game plan, because you are very aggressive and sometimes your opponent, you know, does have a lot of creature removal or whatever. But at that point, if you can just burn your opponent out, like you're forcing him to have so many very specific answers to first of all your creatures, then counter spells, etc. And you will see during the league that at some point, you know, people are just running out of the resources to handle these kinds of things, and then You can do that and just refill with Seasoned Pyromancer. I think Seasoned Pyromancer in this deck, like many decks are running stuff like Shardless Agent, etc., which is also okay because it's most of the time just a 2-for-1, but not under a Teferi, so it's very, very bad. Teferi is already pretty good against you, but Shardless Agent is really bad against Teferi and other cards as well, and Seasoned Pyromancer is just also good because you can recast it from the graveyard or generate a little bit of additional value. And in combination with Sign of Draco, all of your tokens even have First Strike, so at that point, you're really good against 1 toughness creatures, right? Against Snapcasters, against Ragavans, against whatever. All your tokens are really, really decent. Even when you combine them, right? You can have 4 tokens with First Strike and kill whatever. So, yeah, overall, pretty happy with the list. In regards to the sideboard, I think Cinder Vines right now, an absolute monster of a card. Gets rid of a lot of the cards in the format right now. Gets rid of Hammers, gets rid of Urza Saga, gets rid of Leyline Binding. Also, as we've seen before in the Humans deck, if you respond to a Leyline Binding trigger by killing it, it doesn't have any effect, so all the permanents will remain in play, so you can actually get around removal with this, and additionally deal at least 3 damage, you know, even if that's the first card that your opponent's playing in response. So, yeah, just, I think, absolutely great. I added Stubborn Denial here in comparison to the League. I was only playing with 12 sideboard cards because, as I said, I didn't actually want to play Zoo at that point. And now we're going to be in the 5-0 drops with 12 sideboard cards and really weird mana base in the main board, but that's just how it goes. So Stubborn Denial, I think, is very important against certain decks because I have felt a little bit vulnerable against creativity and also control, and having access to Stubborn Denial there in between is just very detrimental, I think. Of course, you can always edit the prismatic endings out and add Leyline Bindings here in the sideboard. The reason why I didn't go with Leyline Binding, aside from the cost of MTGO, it's like $30 a card, but most of the time when I want to have removal, I want to play it turn 1 or turn 2, right? Leyline Binding I can never play turn 1, and I sometimes can play turn 2 for 1 mana, but oftentimes I just still cannot play it because you don't always have the perfect mana 5-color domain start, right? So at that point, Leyline Binding just becomes a lot clunkier, and I only want removal against the very aggressive decks anyway, whereas in all other types of strategies, I can just go with Lightning Bolt, Tribal Flames, or Lightning Helix, and you can get rid of most of the cards anyway, right? Then, because the only card dependent on graveyard in our deck is the Tarmogoyf, I think having 2 Rest in Pieces in the sideboard is really good. Stony Silence doesn't really interact well with Ragavan, but against like Affinity and such, having 1 Stony Silence also against Tron, 1 Stony Silence is just really good. In combination with the Cinder Vines, you just have a lot of outs against those types of decks as well. Alright guys, that's it for the deck tag for the optimized deck. Now I'm going to show you what we're actually seeing in the League. And as I said, just 12 cards here in the main board, in the sideboard. In the main board, these cards are the same, and I'm pretty happy, as I said, with that. The difference here is in the mana base. I was running, like beforehand, my starting mana base was always either Xander's Launch into Temple Garden to get it, domain up, or Savoy Triumph into Breeding Pool, right? So now, neither Savoy Triumph nor Breeding Pool are actually great cards in the deck, I think. So what you mostly, like if you don't have the ability to go turn 2 domain with 2 of these 4 cards, then what you mostly do, because you're a red-green deck, is you fetch for Stomping Ground first, and then you fetch for a Temple Garden, right? Giving you 3 colors. And from there, it's really redundant where you go, right? You can, of course, get a Xander's Launch, but all of these cards are basically bad because you want to have black and blue together. at some point, and none of your cards does provide that. So you can either go with the Watery Grave, but I opted to, as you can see here, add a Refine's Tower instead of the Savoy Triumph, so that I have the ability to start with a Stomping Ground and then have a Triumph that also provides me with Domain, because Stomping Ground is just the main, or the first fetch that I mostly do. And then Cadre Triumph might be a little bit too much. Maybe you want to have a second Stomping Ground, or you want to have a Water Grave, whatever. I just put it in here to have another red source, 4-season Pyromancer, as well as another blue source, because most of the time you're fetching cards that aren't blue. So you're lacking that color. And with Cadre Triumph, that can also be fetched by all of our fetch lands, which is very important. You can still get access to it. So yeah, that's it for the deck tag, guys. Have fun during the leak. I already spoiled it, of course, but it was a really weird, really also somewhat lucky leak, but I think it was fun. So have fun, have a good day. Alright folks, welcome to round number 1. We're playing Zoo today, and that was actually an accident. I did not know that I had Zoo selected. The issue here is that I only have 12 cards in my sideboard, which is also very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. So I guess we're gonna start off with a Lightning Bolt here on the Birds of Paradise. Then we're gonna go with Ragavan and Walnut Coddle. Potentially. And then we're gonna see where it goes. So apparently we're not playing against... Yeah. Just gonna be attacking. I think we need to get rid of the Courser. The Wall of Omens actually is also pretty annoying. We definitely want to get the Tarmogoyf in as well, so that we have a good blocker. Okay. At least he doesn't find lands here. Let's see. So I could make this a 4/4 with protection from instants, but I think I can do that at any point in time. And probably the Draco is more relevant next turn, right? But then I cannot attack this turn if I don't pump. Otherwise we're gonna take, he's gonna take 7. He's gonna block here, so he's at 10. It's not good enough, probably. So I can fetch for a black leaf, a black crypt here, pump it once, I guess. And then I have all colors. And Bazooka Bog is of course doubly good because of the Tarmogoyf. Does he have another cursor? Okay. Alright, so Scion could provide trample, and I can make this a 4/4 as well. So I think I'm gonna do that. And then next turn we can refill. We're just gonna be attacking with everything, I think. And then we hopefully don't lose this turn. Because our opponent's deck will definitely... So we're basically playing against Valuetown here. A deck that, you know, has been absent from Modern for quite a bit. And I think a deck that wouldn't stand a chance with the deck that I actually wanted to register here, but okay. It's befitting for the day. Retreat of Keeps actually, I think, infinite combo here. He cannot draw it right now, and he needs a blue source. But with that, yeah, you can always untap the Knight of Reliquary, fetch another card with it, etc. But let's see if that's gonna be good enough here. Of course, now if he activates the Knight, then it will be gone. So, and I don't know if he has a blue source yet. Okay, now he has it in hand. So if we draw a land, I think... Okay, so... I can ditch a creature here that doesn't do a whole lot. I cannot make this 8, otherwise we would have already lethal here. Because of these two. Of course, you can gain another life here as well with the Knight of Reliquary. But I think I have to try to find another lightning bolt or something. Okay, that's not it. I think we have to attack with everything. Let's see if he's gonna be blocking with the Knight of the Reliquary. No, he is not. It's gonna take 7. That one's gonna die, okay. Yeah, and then he has to win now in his turn, which I think is very reasonably possible. So assume this is gonna be a blue source. Yeah. And then you can play the Knight of the, not the Knight, the Helm of Keep or something, whatever it's called. So now he's got the combo, and I think he's gonna pump the Knight until it's I don't know how much, at least a 12-12, but probably more like a 15-15 or something. And then I think he can also give it trample. Or can he even top down my things? Yeah, can also top down my things. We shall see. This is an enchantment creature, so I think I'm gonna bring in the Cinder Vines. Because they disrupt the combo here with the retreat and the courser. Yep. Alright. So I think, I mean, Hex Drinker is still good because we can make it. Like, if we had drawn a land, then Hex Drinker would have actually been absolutely phenomenal. We would have had lethal there. Everything's good. Territory Kavu also good, I think, because it lets us loot. We could get rid of the Goyf. I think I need Prismatic Ending. Oops. Prismatic Ending. And I think I need Cinder Vines. And I guess I could also go with a Rest in Peace here. That might also be an option. What a day, people. What a day. Oh, I just got up and it's already really fucked up. I did not want to play 5C Zoo here with an unfinished sideboard. But okay. So I would keep this if we had a Lightning Bolt. Although we haven't seen, like, turn 1, I think he only can play a Noble Hierarch or a Birds of Paradise, so he's very unlikely to block there. So let's try this. Yeah. So, okay. Best case scenario would have been if we had drawn a Birds of Paradise or something like that as well. I think, do I need to get rid of it here? Yeah, I think so. Courser at this point is just a little bit too much to handle. Okay. Noble Hierarch, not the worst, TBH. Not the worst. So I want to maintain a couple of our treasures due to Cinder Vines so that I can go kill the Courser if necessary. If it were to come down here. It's a Tireless Tracker. Alright. think I can attack into a Tile Striker. And then we're gonna go this, and I'm gonna discard Ragavan, and I think I'm also gonna discard Territory Kavu. I don't want to give up the Cinder Vines, and I think that the... So this deals only 3 damage, right? Yeah, but it's good enough. Ramnab Excavator. Alright. So I can bolt here. Yeah, let's bolt. So that we can connect with the Ragavan. And then... Can you protect it? Lol. Well. Okay then. Do I attack with everything? Or... No, right? I think I'm just gonna try to attack with a Ragavan. I think that exchange is okay for me if it happens to happen. Alright, there's the Courser. We can definitely get rid of it right away. Unless he has another Ephemerate, that is. And then if we draw lands, we could connect with 8. Okay, cool. So I don't even need to fetch right now, right? So let's see if he has another Ephemerate here. I think I need to do this. Lol. Just lol. Alright. We're still attacking with everything. Down to 4. And Ephemerate isn't like double Ephemerate in hands. It's just hilarious. And there's another Courser. Great. I mean, I can make this a 6/6, so he'll have to be careful. So I can give this trample. I need one more turn to make it a 6/6. You can probably double block. So I think I'm gonna attack with the Hex Drinker without pumping here. It's gonna be a 5/5, not with anything else. And then I can play the Kavu and pump it once if it survives. Doesn't block. Okay. So that means that I think I want to pump once here. And then I'm going to play this dude. And then next turn I can get it to 6/6 protection from everything. There's a Sanctifier, but Sanctifier is not as relevant to me. And there's another Courser. So right now he doesn't have, he doesn't have access to any lands. Doesn't gain any life, which is good. I'm not sure. Like, I should probably get rid of the Seasoned Pyromancer and bring the Tarmogoyfs back in here. Course of Crufix, insane. Alright, let's do that. Nope, cannot keep it. Oh my goodness. Nope. Nope. Okay. We're down to 4. Alrighty. So our opponent's definitely lacking turn 2 plays. So I also didn't adjust the mana base yet. I wanted to adjust the mana base. Fuck. Lol, he's just got 1 land. Fuck my life. Lol, 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 lol. We would have gotten... Like, with a normal hand, we would have gotten through this so well. Alright, so... What do I want here? Probably want to enable Lightning Helix, right? Probably with another red source as well, so that I can play multiple shits. What an insane keep by our opponent. There's a Hex Drinker. Play this. And I can play this as well. Whoops. Next turn we can pump Hex Drinker to be in a 4/4 with Trample. Then we shall see. I don't know. Relinquary probably does have, like, I don't think our opponent would have kept such a risky hand if he didn't have the Helm of Korra in hand. What he could also have here is, of course, an Ephemerate to block and then bounce, but we have Trample, so that's not really an option. Yeah. Opponent apparently doesn't really know how that works. Man, I think with 7 or even with 6 we would have easily won this. But like down to 4, it's just rough. It's just rough. No, man. Can kill the Sign of Draco here. We would have easily won. Easily. Maybe we can find Tribal Flames into like a lightning bolt or whatever. Should I do this right now? How likely is he to win the next turn? Yeah, I'm gonna do it right now. Maybe with another Tribal Flames, maybe we can get there. Maybe we'll get lucky. We haven't down to 2. We shall see. Warrior Champion, okay. Courser. Alrighty. So, yeah, so we need another Tribal Flames. It's not impossible. It's improbable, but not impossible. Well. Let's see if he actually, like... What he doesn't know is the fact that I'm not playing any basics. So if he kills the Xander's Longshire, then Tribal Flames isn't going to be as good. Let's see if he checks that. No, he's going to go with his own thing. But that's also just going to be 5, right? Lol, we won, guys. We won. Wow. Lolly, lolly, lolly. Alright, welcome to round number 2. I think we're going to take a mulligan here. Yeah, this is slightly better. I'm gonna keep, and Our opponent's also on a mulligan, so I could get away, put away a Windswept Heath here. So what I was referring to when talking about the mana base is that I actually wanted to have a Temple Garden into a Xana's Launch or Xana's Launch into Temple Garden start, and I wanted to have the reverse with Stomping Ground into Esper or Raphine's Tower, Esper Triumph. Which I currently don't have. That's why I cannot start with a red source and then get turn 2 Tribal Flames online. So I don't know if I have to get rid of Tribal Flames here, or if I play risky. Let's play it risky. Fuck it. Creeping Tar Pit. That looks like we might be playing against my deck. I don't know anyone else who's playing Creeping Tar Pit. Alright. It's not 100% my deck at the very least. So we can connect here, which is interesting. There was a polluted delta. I think I'm just gonna play a Walnut Coddle here. Not go with it, yeah, because of that. Okay. Season Pyromancer definitely a bargain in this matchup. And our opponent might not have a way of dealing with our Ragavan. And if that's the case and we can just connect here, that would of course be very good. So, let's see. I could fetch for a Savoy Triumph here, I think. I need white. And I need black. Yeah, let's go with that. Duel. Alright. He's gonna lose 2 life though. So I could just play out these 2. Then he might be playing out this in response. I can Tribal Flames it and then next turn do something. I think it's not yet time for the Season Pyromancer here. Our hand's just too potent right now. Alright, so this is obviously not a Grixis deck. Yeah, this is blue-black, whatever, Fairies potentially deck. But Bitterblossom against our deck is very, very difficult to defend. Oh, snappy. A snappy. I guess I could play that just to have another creature on the battlefield. On the other hand, though, I probably also want to pump the Hex Drinker. So we need blue. So I could go with Breeding Pool here. I don't think I need to be careful in regards to my life total right now. And then let's go Snappy. See if he does something. Yeah, does have. Oh, perfect. Then we're gonna go Tribal Flames, him. And then next turn we're gonna do the same thing all over again. And I don't think he has a... Alright, so did find a failed push, and let's see if he's gonna play the Mirror's Rider right now. He did find the failed push off the top. He He needs to have a third counterspell up. Otherwise he's dead. Or Snapcaster. Okay. Yeah. Then he's gonna die to his own Bitterblossom, and that's okay. Tribal Flames, of course. Just a really good card here against Bitterblossom. Alright, quickly going to the toilet, then we're gonna go sideboard. Alright, so sideboarding. Our opponent's playing Bitterblossom and he's got a lot of removal. I'm not sure if I want to play the Ragavan. I don't think so. Also because he does have these 2/3 blockers in there with lifelinks, so I think that's gonna go. I think I want to have Cinder Vines. It's great against Bitterblossom. It's great against against all the non-creature spells that our opponent's playing, and I think we can do it this way. Yeah. The Hex Shrinker is still really good because if we draw it in the lane game, we can push it. Our opponent's playing 63 cards here. I don't know if anyone saw that, but yeah. So we have a little bit of a slower hand, which I don't really mind. We can go turn 1 Sentinel's Launch into turn 2 Sign of Draco. Our opponent needs to have a counterspell at that point in time, otherwise he cannot get rid of it. Like, Fail Push isn't good enough. And also many of the other cards that he's playing won't be able to get rid of a Sign of Draco. So I like that best for our turn 2 play. Alright, so he's hesitating here. I think he's thinking about whether or not he wants to play a Bitterblossom. We shall see. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with the Scion here. It's very possible that our opponent does have a counterspell, but I think I'm reducing his options by the biggest degree here to get rid of the Scion of Draco. Because if we can get him to stumble here, and he doesn't have a counterspell apparently, so he has a Doomblade? What's going on today? What? Alright. What the fuck's going on here? Yeah, I think I'm gonna take... I'm gonna play the Season Pyromancer as last resort. I think that's fine. Our opponent might also play like something like Damnation. I think it's not completely out of the realm of possibility here. We're definitely playing against a hardcore control deck here that reeks of 2015. I mean, he's definitely also playing all the upgraded stuff, but still, it's cool. So let's see what we're gonna draw. I don't want to sacrifice the Tribal Flames, TBH, but I think I'm willing to, yeah, ditch like an additional land here. This can fetch Savoy Triumph. Season Pyromancer is just overall pretty annoying for control decks whatsoever. I can't even give it first strike, potentially. Then even the Snapcaster Mage doesn't have a good block. So let's go with this. This Semi does have a counterspell, alright. Then we're going to be attacking with everything. So I'm not sure what he's thinking about here. Yeah, it would be weird if he had another counterspell here because he let the other spells through beforehand. So we don't need many hits. We need like 1 or 2 hits with the Territory Kavu to be sufficient. Another Snapcaster Mage. Alright, that's pretty annoying. Oh, and he has no more removal spells in hand. He has to go with the Tribal Flames here. With Doomblade. So I'm just going to replay the Season Pyromancer, I think. We're going to get in with a couple of the tokens. We're flooding out hardcore here. We're just playing 20 lands. We've already got like 6 in play plus 1, 2, 3 in the graveyard. Which obviously isn't great. So it's possible that my opponent's baiting here. But if he wants to sacrifice his Snapcaster Mage and then Damnation, that's okay with me. Like if he wants to Damnation for like 2 tokens. Our opponent will also have a lot of lands down the road. So at some point he will start flooding out as well. But I think it was correct to keep the pressure high here. Of course, our opponent had a very good hand here with the things he had. So I'm going to keep the Tribal Flames back just in case my opponent is running Jace the Mind Sculptor. So that even if I cannot connect with my creatures, that I will be able to... What the fuck? Okay. So did he get to decide? He did kick. So put the permanent on bottom of its owners. Okay. He didn't get to decide, it's just bottom. Alright. That's okay. I mean, we're just gonna be chipping in here. When he casts something, I'm just gonna respond with the Lightning Helix and I'm gonna have that Tribal Flames up until the very, very end. Alright, Cinder Vines is actually a card that I very much like here. Also, if he didn't board out the Bitterblossoms, it's definitely gonna come back to haunt him if he draws them down the road here. So Cinder Vines definitely has an advantage the earlier I play it, and therefore I'm just going to go with it right now. If he does have a counterspell, that's okay. If he doesn't have a counterspell though, he's going to have a big issue here with the Cinder Vines. Alright, so now everything he plays, except for the Snapcaster, is going to be hurting him together with these two elementals. It's going to be rough for him to get out of this spot. Engineered explosives. Alright. I don't think he's going to take one more hit. I think that's it for him. Also, he still has to fetch lands that he has to fetch at some point. So that's 2 more damage that he's going to take. And then Tribal Flame's already almost lethal. So this is the last card with which we can actually fetch. Let's see. I have lethal here. I think I'm going to start off by doing this. Because I kind of want to overload his lands here to a little bit. I feel like I shouldn't. Four. Okay. I think Seasoned Pyromancer is probably the best draw that we have. Perfect. Let's go do this, and then if that doesn't work, we're gonna go with the Seasoned Pyromancer. Along the way, our opponent's gonna take damage anyway. Yeah, as I said, that's what I expected. And then the thing is that Seasoned Pyromancer, of course. Oh, he does have a subtlety. Alright. Subtlety is very good here. Let's see if he has another one after this. Subtlety is really good. Not gonna lie. Obviously, he has a very limited amount of spells that he can play from here. But if he can get rid of my Seasoned Pyromancer again, then he might have a window to get there. No, don't tell me you have another subtlety. Fuck you. Fuck you. Alright, let's go top again. And then we really have to hope that our opponent doesn't have another counterspell, because then we're actually dead. Basically anything that we draw off the, like any burn spell is good enough if our Seasoned Pyromancer resolves. Alright, let's go. And then in his turn we're gonna... Doesn't really matter, because we cannot block anyway, but... Let's see. Maybe he has another one. Maybe he has a counterspell. We shall see. Another spell snare, I mean. Might not have anything though. Okay. All right. Cool. So in the end, we got there. Very, very tight margins here that we're running on. GG's. Alright, folks, welcome to run number 3. We're on the play. So the good thing about this hand is we have a turn 2 domain, plus we have a little bit of removal, etc., and potentially Season Pyromancer to fill things up. Of course, Tarmogoyf is the card that we have to rely on here to get the beats in, but we shall see. So building this deck, like, of course I said that I wanted to make some changes to the mana base, but what I had in mind building the deck was that I have a lot of red sources. So I think next to the... Okay, so now we already know what we're playing against. Oh shit, this cannot fetch that actually, and that's a mistake. Then we don't have the main... I mean, it's still okay, but yeah, that's what I said. Okay, Santa's launch. So what I wanted... Yeah. So most of my lands here, I think that the other zoo decks are running too many non-red sources, and that brings you into awkward situations at times. Really awkward. Yeah. Okay, so we can kill that Renin 6. Shouldn't be a big deal. Sadly, we cannot get out the Sign-Off Draco as well. Otherwise, the Renin 6 will survive. And he's on a mulligan to 5, so I probably don't want that. And next turn I can play the Sign-Off Draco and keep up magic. So that means that right now I probably want to go with a Lightning Helix here to kill it. That of course also pumps our Tarmogoyf, therefore I think that's correct. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Yep. So now, yeah, good. Good that we drew one. Because what I want to prevent is a situation where he attacks with a goblin and then he can go into not only indomitable creativity, but also I cannot respond with the lightning bolt due to the fact that he has the mana token there. And we also currently don't know whether or not he is able to produce another... Maybe he's playing the persist version here. We shall see. Yeah, we're definitely going to get rid of that. We still have lethal in case he doesn't go off here. Fuck you. Fuck you, honestly. Fuck. So if I sack the Sign of Draco here, then my Tarmogoyf is a 6/7. So he's gonna have a hard time dealing with that, but obviously. Hmm. I think if we were to draw... Okay, so now he has another dwarf. And this is exactly, by the way, the matchup that is going to be way worse for us. Because I used to play 3 overs in this deck. But that's the 3 slots that are missing in our sideboard right now. Yeah, alright, I think we can concede here. So I'm gonna cut the Goyfs. I'm gonna go with Rest in Peace. Also think that I want to have a couple of Cinder Vines here. Ragavan is not really great. Let's cut that down by 2. And then we're gonna pass. I don't think that we can keep this. Or can we? Tribal Flame's definitely a good option. Of course, it can also get rid of the Ren 6. Okay, let's keep it. Let's keep it. Let's keep it. And then we're gonna go Xenos Launch into Temple Garden, play the Cinder Vines, and then after that we're gonna get rid of our Tribal Flames. The good thing about this matchup is that our opponent has to aggressively fetch, which most of the time Xenos Launch, Cinder Vines. I don't even mind the fact that we're drawing a lot of lands here. I think it's actually quite neat. So that we can get the Tribal Flames out in time. So I will keep the Cinder Vines up, just in case our opponent's going to go with a Fable here. So we're basically dealing him 3 damage, taking the Fable away, which means no redraws and, more importantly, no way of getting a card into his graveyard. And that means that he has to have... Actually, I could also just Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I hit him for 4. Yeah, the only way next turn he survives... No, he cannot, right? Yeah. So I'm not gonna do that, actually. I'm not gonna go with the Cinder Vines. I'm just gonna fetch a Savoy Triumph because I'm putting him to 11 and both of the Tribal Flames are gonna put him to 1. And then he cannot play a non-creature spell anymore, which means he's very likely dead. I mean, I would have dealt 2 damage anyway there. Maybe that was a little bit too much around the corner. Yeah, but I still don't know. Like, I don't think there's any way for him to get back from here. He cannot get rid of the Scion of Draco. Cannot play anything. And I still can kill the Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I think this is how burn players play when they have Eidolon play in the late game. Alright, so got there this turn. I think I want to get rid of the Seasoned Pyromancies here. The Goyfs, of course, don't really function well. Well, maybe let's just go with 2 Goyfs and 2 Pyromancies. Of course, there's a dyssynergy between Goyf and Rest in Peace. Okay, so we do have the Rest in Peace. I think we're gonna keep. Sorry for all the emails here that are trickling in. Alright, so I think we're gonna start off with a Wooded Foothills into Sandos Launch. This is probably gonna be a Ren 6, which we can shut off with a Rest in Peace. Obviously, we're a little bit behind here, but I think we still have to do it. I like bringing Rest in Peace here. Like, now I don't have to take care of the Ren and 6. Persist is completely dead. I think this is definitely the way to go. Alright, so I need to keep up the Lightning Bolt to prevent an Archon from coming down. I think... Do I want to go with the Scion or do I want to go with the Territory Gabu? I think I want to go with the Scion. Of course, he could have a Prismari command here, so maybe that's worse, but if he does have a Leyline Binding... Yeah. Okay, so he targets himself twice. Wants to create a treasure token, which sadly makes sense. There's a Veil of Summer. I guess the Veil of Summer was in there for... Hmm. So this seems like he wants to get multiple out at the same time. I can put him to 9. If he fetches, then we already have lethal. I don't know if he's... Yeah, he probably has. I mean, he brought in Veil of Summer, which is probably a hedge against Olvar. But if he does have a Spell Pierce here, then we cannot do really anything, right? Hexdrinker is gonna be killed by the Ren 6, so that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think I have to go for victory here. I mean, it's very likely that my opponent does have a counterspell. Indeed. But I think I have to try it. Like if my opponent stumbles there, doesn't have creativity or whatever. A couple of dead cards could also have like Ren 6 or Persistent Hand. I think I have to do it, so it's fine. I can of course Season Pyromancer away the Hexdrinkers. I think that's also okay. This is interesting actually. So he definitely has a couple of dead cards that he wants to get rid of. But I think he wants to get 2 of the Archons here in play. Okay. Yeah, Goy was pretty dead. Alright, so I think this turn I'm gonna go with the Kavu here. Keeping up the Lightning Bolt, and then next turn we might go with the Season Pyromancer. But I definitely want to have the ability to get rid of the Dwarf token in response. And if we were to draw, that's why I didn't kill it before, because if we were to draw a, if he has creativity now on 2, then we don't stand a chance, I think. But what I wanted to say is that if we had drawn another Tribal Flames there, then I can pressure lethal again, which I think is correct. Whew. So now, all right, let's see. We have a couple of redraws here. Okay, it does block, which makes sense. We're gonna go with Season Pyromancer, discarding both Hexdrinkers, I think. Okay, so now we have 2 Lightning Bolts, which means next turn, like if we survive one more turn, I think we should be lethal. And even like if we can prevent one Archon, like the second one shouldn't even be, well, okay. Does he have nothing? Oh, great. This is great. Oh, this is really good. Okay, let's go. So our opponent probably has a lot of counter magic in hand, I guess. Now we have basically triple death here, right? Yeah. And I think I'm gonna wait until the very last minute for him to do something. Alright, so it has an Archon, but that's not good enough. We get him here. Alright, we won that as well. Even without 3 Olvars. That's pretty dope. Alright, see you guys in round number 4. Alright folks, welcome to round number 4. We are 3-0 and we're on the play as well. Kahira indicates that we're playing against a blue-white control deck. Against control, generally speaking, I like to have a Seasoned Pyromancer in hand. So I think I'm going to keep this. Start off with a Windswept Heath. And then I could fetch this into Sylvide Triome. Or Savoy. One of those. So the issue here that could potentially arise is that my opponent could be playing main board Dress Down, in which case Territory Kavu will just straight up die. Could of course also just be a 4-color Omnath build, but I kind of assume that we're playing against a control deck. So he's got 3, yeah, alright. Interesting, exiling the Teferi here. It definitely has a counterspell up here, otherwise he wouldn't have done it this way. But I think I'm okay with that. I'm gonna run the... So I need blue, right? I'm gonna run the Tarmogoyf into the counterspell. Our opponent's very likely also playing some sort of... Oh yeah, he yeah. So we have to be very careful with the Hex Drinker. It's very possible that our opponent does play Archmage's Charm and could steal it at any point in time. So we're just going to be attacking with the 2-for-1 for right now. And do I want to go Tribal Flames here? So it's absolutely possible that our opponent is playing into a Supreme Verdict here. I think I'm gonna go Tribal Flames. I think that way we can mitigate our exposure to a Supreme Verdict here while still having some pressure on the battlefield. I don't think that he's gonna counter here. Probably gonna draw 2 cards or something. He took the Wildland Call. Alright. So he's down to 9. Everything else was as expected. Let's play out the Tarmogoyf and pump the Hexdrinker for 1. Pass the turn, and then we shall see what happens next turn. Obviously, Hexdrinker, still a good card, but has a little bit of a weakness due to the fact that Leyline Binding and Solitude exist. So that, like, the second mode here basically is not as strong as it used to be. Wow. Okay. Alright, so I think we're gonna play out the other Walden Call here. Kill off the Solitude. It's of course pretty hilarious that our opponent also has a Plains and a Mountain to actually have it be a 3/3 as well. Kahira, okay. I think Kahira is fine. This indicates that he doesn't have anything else. It's a cat warrior as well. Oh my goodness. We are getting fucked by the tribal synergies here. With a cat warrior. Shit. Alright, so what I can do is I can kill the Kahira and thus clear the board. Or I could just play the Seasoned Pyromancer here and try to go for lethal. I think just gonna attack. Obviously, if our opponent has a big Teferi in hand or something like that, then it's very, very difficult for us to come back to, into this game. But I don't think he's missed a land drop yet, so I strongly assume that there's a land or whatever still in there. Now we have to refill our hand with Seasoned Pyromancer. Could also, of course, be Memory Deluge. Yeah, that's what I thought. TBH. Let's see if he finds a counterspell here in his top 4. Alright, didn't find one. So I'm gonna Fetch Shock here. Probably for a Temple Garden. We have double reds. No, I think I want to have another red source. Blood Crypt. Okay, another Seasoned Pyromancer. It's not perfect, but it's also not bad. If we can chain a couple Seasoned Pyromancers here. Right now we know he doesn't have a counterspell in hand. Could have Mark Mage's Charm, of course. But he does need to deal with this Seasoned Pyromancer first. And the more damage we deal, the better our Tribal Flames become. Alright, we'll do something here. Could be a Shark Typhoon. Alright, Solitude. Lol, he found a counterspell off the top there. Wow. Better lucky than good. Because he didn't have that before. Just found that. Okay, now of course it becomes very, very difficult here. Green, red. And of course we've also flooded out a bit here. Yeah, he's gonna play Memory Deluge. I think I want to bring in the Cinder Vines, but not a whole lot else. I don't think we're coming back from this, TBH. Leyline Binding, okay. I have a look at one more draw step. Like if we were to find another Seasoned Pyromancer, then maybe we have a shot. I think I want to get rid of Tarmogoyf here. I do like the rest of the deck though. Alrighty, let's see. So Ragavan turn 1 would be ideal. Can I also go with the Kavu turn 2? I mean, Kavu is not a bad card, but I think I need to have a turn 1 play. Oh my goodness, this is even worse. Okay, let's keep this. I'm gonna ditch this and ditch a land, I think. Then we're gonna go turn 1 Hexdrinker, turn 2 Cinder Vines, I think. So that we can deal a little bit of damage in between, and if my opponent plays Leyline Binding or Engineered Explosives, then we can get rid of it as well. But maybe this way, I'm going to start off with the Territory Kavu to find more action. And I probably want to have another red source here, I think. Yeah. Ah, yeah. All right. Dress down is, of course, the worst possible for us. I think, I don't know, with the two Cinder Vines in play, I think we still have a good shot. Of course, we're way behind. Dress down was really strong here, and we were on a mulligan to 5. So it's going to be an uphill battle. And the matchup's also not good, I think. But we shall see. So I'm still going to play this out, I think, instead of waiting with the Lightning Helix. Because if he does have only Narc Mage Charm here as a counterspell, then I want to force him to utilize it. It's a Leyline Binding. Okay, so we're going to be utilizing this. Down to 11. Maybe we can burn him out. We shall see. Cinder Vines, I think, definitely a card where I want to be right now. It's like really, really solid in the format. Gets rid of virtually anything. Gets rid of Urza Saga, gets rid of Leyline Binding. It's just really good. So I think let's Lightning Helix right now. To turn up the heat here a little bit. And Big Teferi is probably the scariest thing at this point in the game. But that will also cost him a life, plus the Misty Rainforest. So he has to get rid of the Cinder Vines at some point, or he has to get a Solitude in, but he's already played a Solitude, so we shall see if he has another one. I think I'm gonna go and get this. So if I play out, I mean, I don't have a lot of options at this point in the game, but worst case scenario is, of course, I play out the Kavu. He's got a Dress Down or a Solitude in hand. Yeah. Zero mana Shark Typhoon cycling, interesting. So he definitely doesn't want to expend more resources here in terms of life. A couple more cards, this could have been so great. Sticking up, not down. Oh, interesting. I'm pumping it twice. I'm pretty sure that my opponent has a solution to it anyway. Now our opponent's also in range for Tribal Flames. Let's see. And as long as we keep 1 mana up here, we at least... He's already played an Armage Charm. I think it's somewhat likely that he has another one. But to be entirely honest with you, we don't really have a whole lot of options. So if he takes over the Hexdrinker here, which he didn't do, okay. Now I'm interested. Like, now it's getting rough because if he plays an enchantment, then we almost have him. Because he will take 1 damage off of that. Like, the only card I think that saves him here, really saves him, is gonna be... So let's see what he targets. Yeah, has to target the Cinder Vines, okay. So we can put him down to 1. He cannot fetch anymore. And we shall see how many counter spells he actually still has. We can also give the Hexdrinker protection from everything. Does have, okay. Prismatic Ending. Let's see. So as always, best draw is a Seasoned Pyromancer. Let me do this right now. I think I want to try... Third time's the charm with the Kavu. I strongly assume that he's... Alright, gets countered. If it gets countered, I'm actually quite fine with that. Okay, 5. Is this a Logic Knot? No, it's a Shark Typhoon, okay. We haven't really had a good draw as well, like, and we still got him to 1 life here. So overall, I'm not too unhappy about this. Does he let me attack? Can I cycle? Nope. Third dress down. Okay. I don't even know if I want to discard here. I could also go after the Memory Deluge. Let's go after the Memory Deluge here. That at least takes away a little bit of the range he has, the options he has. Dude, I cannot do anything at instant speed. Neither activating this nor have I cards in hand, nor is there an opportunity without the Teferi. So if you want to take this over, go ahead. Alright, so didn't do that. Does have Mark Major Charm though, so this can only mean that there is a Supreme Verdict, right? And he could play that with a Teferi actually at instant speed, but doesn't want to. I really want to know whether or not like there's a lot of dead cards in his hand right now. Solitude has to go after the Hex Drinker, yeah. Okay. Well, thing is, like, we have so much burn still in our deck that I'm not willing to give this up yet. Of course, we're significantly behind, and from this position on, we should never, ever get there again. But on the other hand, one Tribal Flames could be enough. Should probably get the key out at some point. Alright. All or nothing, boom or bust. We shall see. LOL. 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 Alright. So, guys. I'm definitely gonna cut the territory Kavus here. That's not something that I really want to have right now. And I think our opponent's not really utilizing the graveyard anyway, so yeah. But the dress downs are really fucked up. And alright, so this is a little bit of a better starting hand with a Ragavan here. Potentially turn 2 Season Pyromancer. That would be great. We shall see. And our opponent could have somewhat... Actually, do I want to do this? Yeah, no, I have to. Let's see whether or not he does have a leyline binding here. No, he doesn't. Cool. We get a Ragavan hit in. And we take a treasure. Okay, so our opponent's keeping up mana, so I probably don't want to go with anything crazy here. I think Temple Garden. Wild Nacatl. And then I could go with the Cinder Vines as well. Yeah, because I'm forcing him to counter this. Yeah, I agree. You have to counter it. That's correct. All right, so he's playing a Teferi. Could bounce the Ragavan, of course. Does not, though. And I think now I'm going to take the opportunity here. I don't think that my opponent's going to go ahead here and Solitude the Ragavan. It's possible, but I don't expect that to happen. And I think now I actually want to go with the Seasoned Pyromancer here. And because that will really put him on having a Supreme Verdict. So I'm going to get rid of this and potentially the Lightning Helix. Okay. Alright, so worst case scenario obviously is if my opponent does have a Supreme Verdict here. And he does. Alright. And then tapped wrong. This is, of course, the absolute best case scenario for our opponent. Instant speed, Supreme Verdict. Sadly, we didn't draw another land here. Otherwise, we could have rebuilt pretty quickly. That looks to be a Chalice, right? No, Chalice on 2. I don't actually think... I mean... I guess it's possible that that hinders me more than him, but I don't actually think so. So let's attack him. Putting him down to 12. Our opponent has a lot of 2-drops as well. So let's see if he does have another Supreme Verdict. Obviously now we don't have now to the Chalice anymore. So that's something that's somewhat bad. But our opponent definitely does have more dead cards in his hand now as well. And we don't have to play around the counterspell anymore, which is also good. We shall see. It's going to be a close one, I think. It's going to be a very, very close one. Obviously, for our opponent, the best case scenario at this point is a Solitude again, because that really swings these types of matches. So our best out, I think, against the Chalice is now finding a leyline binding off of the Ragavan from our opponent. Then we can get rid of that, and then we can Tribal Flames. And otherwise, we're just going to build towards a point where we can just bring back the Season Pyromancer tokens. No clue what's happening right now. Our opponent's at 5 minutes already, and he's just taking his time here. And just concedes. Okay. Alright, folks, welcome to the last round here. I think this is not what we want. We're gonna mulligan. I want to have at least 2 lands. We're gonna keep this. So Temple Garden plus something. I think I can actually get rid of the Savoy Triumph here. Although, let's see. So this has black and red. Yeah, I think that's okay. Our opponent's on a mulligan to 5, so maybe he won't have the resources to deal with our Wild Nacatls here. Also so weird to play Wild Nacatl in 2022. Because this basically allows me to go turn 2, fetch this for Xander's Launch, and then set up in terms of domain, and we have all the colors that we need for all the creatures that we have, which is pretty neat. Yeah, Kavu we can do later. Alright, so now I'm thinking, alright, our opponent's probably on creativity. And I really don't want to play against creativity again. It's like, yeah, it's creativity, and it's like the worst possible matchup. Like, we don't have the Olvars, we don't have all the shit, and it's really, really annoying. But okay. With the second Wild Nacatl in play, I think things would be a little smoother here. This way, we probably have to keep up the Lightning Helixes so that we don't get hit by an Archon. But it's also possible that our opponent just doesn't have the means. Let's see. Okay. And I'm fine with this because this means that, like, the more he counters here and does stuff. Let's see, we have to plan this out. So we're putting him to 12 here. Next turn, we can deal 6 additional damage, putting him to 1, and then pull. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it up. I think it's the safest way here. Every turn he can't do anything. And we can also, let's actually see if he has another counterspell here. Oh my goodness. Alright, so, I mean, if he does have counterspells, then we can also not prevent the Archon in his turn anyway. Therefore, I think I'm fine with this anyway. And he does have a Leyline Binding as well. Oh my fucking lord. Okay, so I think we're gonna go with a Kavu here. And we shall see. Very fuck my life. Such a good draw here. Such a good draw. I think we're still gonna go with the Kavu again. And then We basically have lethal in hand. Prismari command, okay. Okay. Let's see. So right now our opponent is dead. And he can only protect himself by having another counterspell in hand. But that means that he needs to find a creativity off the top. My goodness, we won this one. Alrighty, so Cindervine's coming in again. I think Season Pyromancer is just a little bit too slow, or is it? Or is it? I think I want to get the Ren 6/8 going as well again. Bringing in a couple of rest in pieces and cutting down a little bit here, so that we can pivot to just burning our opponent out if necessary. It would be so hilarious if we were to 5-0 with 12 cards in our sideboard and a non-optimized main board as well. Alright, so I think we're keep. And I do believe that we might want to turn one Hex Drinker, actually. Huh. Yep, I think we might want to turn one Hex Drinker so that I can turn two Ragavan and Walnut Coddle. Or alternatively, if he takes down with Ren 6 on the Hex Drinker, could also do other shenanigans. So now, I think our opponent could, of course, have a Fire Ice, and then exposing my both of these to the Fire Ice would be pretty bad, but he might have also already either killed here or tapped something. Yeah. So apparently he's just got a Leyline Binding there. And then, of course, Leyline Binding is not great here. Catching the Ragavan. And then I think we're going to follow up with the Territorial Kavu. There's the Ren 6. Okay. Let's see if he has a solution for the Walnut Call here. Sadly, we cannot play the Rest in Peace, otherwise we could just ignore the Ren 6. Okay, so that's done. And that could mean one of two things. Either he just doesn't have more removal, or he does have everything in his hand already that he needs to combo off here. Okay, it's a Fable. No, it's a Teferi. So annoying. I have to get rid of the Teferi again. There is a Fable. Somewhat interesting. So I think that I want to discard the Season Paramensa here. I don't really want to show my opponent that I have the Rest in Peace so that he doesn't borrow like Persist or whatever. And I think the Season Paramensa, like if our opponent does have something, it's over anyway. So let's see. So I strongly assume that our opponent just needs a fetch land here to find a Dwarven Mine. There's Persist, see? So also he's playing Invasive Surgery, which is weird, but okay. No creativity though. Interesting. Yeah, let's attack. So I guess we're discarding a Scion of Draco here. Alright. So our opponent's just taking 2. I think that's fair. I think that is fair. Let's see if he can actually handle this. He can. Okay. Nope. Then I need actually white, right? But let's go with a Sacred Foundry so I have another red source. And then we're gonna pump here once. Yeah, he doesn't have indomitable creativity just yet. And I can actually play the Scion of Draco here. I can either do that, or I could try to go with the Tribal Flames. In which case, like, I think he has to block. Obviously, he could generate a Dwarven token. Let's go with this, so that both of these have trample. And then if we were to draw another land, also this really sets up, yeah. So our opponent does need to have another counterspell in hand, but I kind of think that he does have, because I'm actually not sure what else he could have. So he's down to 1. He cannot even fetch anymore, so... Oh man, this is so close. This is so close. Let's see. Lord. Alright, folks. We 5-0'd with the wackiest of whack domain tribal zoo decks here. I just want to make a couple of points before things are over here. So let's recap. First of all, or maybe I'll already do that in the introduction, because now I'll just tell you, alright, so of course there were a couple of sideboard slots missing, some things that we want to have. Then in the main board, we want to have a different mana base as well. I was very happy with the actual creatures here. I think Hexdrinker is a very good addition. It's just a must answer for any opponent. I think Tarmogoyf is generally speaking better than the other version that most people play there. But yeah, everything else in the deck tech. I hope you enjoyed the league. I hope you had fun with part 2 here of the series, and then next time around we're gonna get crazy with Grixis again. I have a couple of new cards that I want to play there as well, or showcase. So look out for that. Have a good day, guys.